Hello, and welcome to a special edition of the Career Tipper podcast on financial empowerment with Arelene Blake. Arlene, welcome to the Career Tipper podcast.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so excited to be on here with you today. I always get a chance to tune in and listen over the years, but this is my first opportunity to actually be on the show. So I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is great. And yes, I am Michele Badie. I am the creator and host of the Career Tipper podcast. I did not introduce myself earlier. Just so excited to have Arlene on the show. This has been a long time coming. So I'm really, really excited and grateful for you to join me in this conversation.
Yes, very excited.
Okay, so one thing about Arlene, let me tell you, she is women empowerment personified. She is infectious with her energy. She is the cheerleader you didn't know you needed in your life, personally and professionally. And one thing about Arlene and her organization, Women on the Rise International, they are going to help ladies globally, really globally, but it started here in the Central Florida community, get themselves together in every area of their life. And one thing that I really love about the organization is that she loves to tell people that we do not compete, we complement. So Arlene, just tell more about yourself, share more about yourself with the listeners and what you do with this amazing organization.
Thank you, Michele. We have been going for a little over 6 years now with Women on the Rise International Incorporated. We are a 501c3 nonprofit women's empowerment organization. We are created with the idea of providing a platform for women to be able to share their stories as how they've been able to overcome obstacles, whether in their personal life or professional life, but to share that in order to inspire other women to be able to do the same. So we also mentor middle school and high school young ladies in self-esteem and empowerment. And it's just been an awesome 6.5 years doing this. I actually founded the organization back in 2016. It really came out of me going through therapy after having lost both of my parents to cancer. And I just realized that there was something really powerful about women coming together, allowing themselves to be vulnerable, shift and share and empower one another, that really, really allow for them to grow. And so I wanted to kind of create that level of community where we could feel safe with one another and really help each other in both our personal and careers.
I love it. And so it's amazing how something so beautiful can grow from trauma, right? It's almost like the rose that grew from concrete, something hard, something just, it's like, where is the beauty? And you have found that, and you have planted so many seeds and so many women that have gone on and continue to do amazing things. So one thing that I want you to talk about today during this interview is your vision for your program, Educated and Broke.
Absolutely. And let me start off with saying, over the years of doing Women on the Rise, we would always do these educational empowerment events. And one of the things that I saw that was very consistent was women just not being satisfied with where they were in their careers. And so you start to listen to what people are saying. I mean, we have a membership base, but then we also serve the community with our events. Constantly, we're hearing this. And so the idea was, we really have to create some kind of program that addresses, one, this gender pay gap that exists, and two, so many women living paycheck to paycheck, but they're educated. They have degrees, right? Because we all went to school to get a degree, thinking that when we graduated, we were making this, this great salary that would take care of us in every way possible, and we would just be living fabulous lives. Well, we were sold a dream because that was not the case for many of us, right? And so we realized we really needed to create this program where we taught women, one, how do you sit with your leadership and articulate your value? What is it that you bring to the table? What is it that you should be asking for and making, right? And how to do that, how to advocate for yourselves, right? And then we took it a step further, because so many people, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you probably don't have any savings, right? So how do you begin to budget and save? And if you're now making more, how are we investing that money, right? To create generational wealth, so we're not stressing all the time about what we're leaving behind for our children or what we have for rainy days. And then so many people had these amazing skill sets and weren't leveraging them. So how can you take those skills and create a side business that could also bring in additional revenue, right? So we began to put together this program with the help of so many supporters in the community who also began to notice this was an issue that needed to be addressed. And so we created what is called Educated and Broke, because we will not any longer be educated and broke. So it's all about providing the tools and resources that are needed to get us all together to where we can really start breaking barriers, crushing glass ceilings, earning more, earning what we deserve. And so that's where Educated and Broke came from. And we have just been so excited about the program. We trademarked it as well. So it is a huge part of what we do under our financial literacy and career development pillar with Women on the Rise.
Kudos, congratulations, all of the above.
Thank you, Diva.
Yeah, for sure. So just to share with the listeners, I had been introduced to Women on the Rise International through a mutual friend that Arlene and I have, Miss Courtney Donshaw, who is amazing.
Yes, we love her.
Just, supporting Arlene. And then all of a sudden it was through Educated and Broke that my roots started to settle within the organization that has ultimately led to me being a member of the board. But my talk about
a long time coming. Yes,
yeah,
love it.
Pretty amazing.
You are such an amazing asset to the organization. I mean, you work behind the scenes with helping me with Educated and Broke from the onset. You've been a complete blessing. I mean, you are like the guru of career development, right? And so it's just been wonderful to have you adding that value that you bring to everything that you do. Just so thank you.
Oh, thank you. Warm fuzzies all over the place here. Like woo woo woo. Like Martin back in the day. It's all good. So I want you, I just want to go back a little bit, and I want you to talk about the importance of being involved in a community-based organization like Women on the Rise to be able to gain the resources and the knowledge and the expertise from being in one of the programs like Educated and Broke.
Yeah. I think part of it is you're kind of limited by only what you know, right? So it's really good to be able to talk to others, and know what's possible, right? Like I remember having a girlfriend who negotiated almost like $70,000 worth of additional benefits. Well, I didn't know that was possible, right? Until you start to have conversations with other people. And so having a community like Women on the Rise, where you have women who are at all different levels within their career, there's an opportunity to really be able to learn from others. And if we're always staying in that same group and crowd, we're not really providing ourselves with an opportunity to really grow. So I think it's really important that people identify a community-based organization in their area that is really looking to help women to excel, whether it's in entrepreneurship, personally, within their careers, or if you're lucky, Women on the Rise, where we do all of it. So I think that's really important, just to have that community that genuinely supports and uplifts one another in all those areas and shares. Like one of the things one of our ladies, she'll do in a heartbeat is she'll ask, well, how much are you making? And she's not asking it for the idea of comparing it. It's to get you to be comfortable with talking about it, right? Because a lot of people aren't comfortable talking about salaries, but that's how you know if you're being paid what you need to be paid. So that's why I think having a community such as this is so pivotal in helping us to each grow to our full potential in our careers.
I think that's so key. And one thing about being in, even if you're not ready to be a member of the organization, you can still attend the events. Like I want to make that very clear. It's not like you have to be an active member to be able to gain access to the different programming offered by the organization. We would love for you to be a part of it if you feel it's a right fit for you, because you'll definitely get a wonderful return on your investment. But at the same time, there's no limitation to you gaining that. It's just signing up or paying a nominal fee if need be to gain access to this. But this specific programming is free.
Absolutely. And we've kept it free. I mean, that's sometimes like a question that we'll go back and forth on, but it has been so important to me that we provide this to the community. And just to kind of put some numbers into play, like we have locally here in Orlando 134 members, right, that are active paid members. Then we have like our Facebook community, which is around like over 1,500. But when we actually do a list to capture all of the names of those who attend our events, and whether it's online or in person, it's over 5,000 people that we impact. So that goes to show we are not only working with just our members, right? They really help to push the initiatives that we have, but we're a community-based organization here to support the women and girls right here.
And I also want to share, I'm so excited about this program and what you do. Attending one of the Women on the Rise international events, it is a melting pot of just goodness. A lot of women, different stages in their careers, different backgrounds, different ethnicities, but they're powerful, they're strong, they're talented, they're intelligent, and they come in just as sincere and as authentic as they can be, and they're just fixing crowns and reminding people of their value and reminding people of their worth. And it's like they're sharing. And one thing is true: successful people leave clues, and successful people shares success tips, what Arlene was saying. And it's just so amazing just to be able to sit with these women that candidly will share with you, right? They'll candidly share information. And it's like, write that down. Like they're literally telling you, write that down. You need this information.
Yeah.
And it's just really empowering. And I just think that what you're doing is legacy building in a very, not a kid glove way, but a very nurturing way that makes it safe for you to come and lay your guard down and get educated. I think that's so key. And I just want the listeners to really have a deeper understanding of what it is, because it's an experience and it is luxury. It is luxury on every level. It's excellence, and it's a memory. It's definitely a memory, and you will not forget. And in any type of event you attend for Women on the Rise International, because it is an experience. It's not like you're just sitting down and saying, hey, I got this information. No, from the food you eat to the people you talk to, how your materials are presented to you, it's all of excellence, and it's reminding you what you are worthy to experience.
Absolutely. We've created a brand with Women on the Rise. So if you attend an event, you know you're at a Women on the Rise event. I do have an event background, so that was important that we have that certain aesthetic that takes place at every event that we do, even when it comes to our branding. So it's been great to have that. But I think one of the things that's been amazing is just the energy that exists within the culture of Women on the Rise. It's very genuine. It's very sincere. There's a level of humility that everyone has. It's part of it. And again, like I mentioned, you have people that are at all different levels within their careers, whether they're CEOs of multi-million-dollar companies or they're working an entry-level job. They can still come into a space and be there together and not feel slighted by another, right? And so I think that is a testament of the type of people that we have that are part of the organization. So it's a safe space to be vulnerable and to share what might not be working right now in your career, right? Or if you're making a salary that you're not proud of, or if you're doing really well, and sometimes you might be concerned about sharing it with others and that they might feel a certain way about that. It is a safe space, and that's what I'm so proud of that we've created, so that people can really come in and let their guard down and really begin to learn, to dive in and take in everything and be able to have an actionable plan that they can then take and implement to really push themselves forward. So that's what we've been able to create with Women on the Rise. So that's been really exciting. And the future of what we're doing, not meaning to jump ahead, is really exciting too, with the program veering away from just sticking with our one day sessions, but we have other plans to really deep dive into our programming as well.
Do you want to talk about it? Do you
Let's
want to
talk
give
about it.
a little sneak peek?
Yeah, let's talk about it. So in the past, since we started Educated and Broke in 2018, it was all about these like one day workshops where we had amazing speakers who really got into the nitty gritty of the particular topics that we were discussing. Because for me, I don't like surface conversation. I want to talk about what people are really needing to know that no one is answering the question of, right? So whenever we're doing events, that's what we're getting into. So you would have that session and you would walk away from it and you'd be really, really excited. And you do have some steps to move forward on, but there's a level of accountability that may not be there, right? And so we have put together an 8-week cohort that will follow each of these one day conferences, as you might want to call them, to where everyone that's part of that cohort, and they have to apply, each week they will meet with their instructor virtually to take a deeper dive into the content that was discussed during that that workshop day. And so, for example, if we're talking salary negotiation, it's no longer that you're just getting tips. Now you're actually doing mock interviews where the instructor is going to say, okay, Arlene, let's talk about it, right? And we're going to have this interview and you need to now advocate for yourself, right? And you're going to be amongst your other participants so they can give feedback as well, right? So that's what, putting someone on the spot is really where they begin to learn and to build that muscle to develop and to get better at it. And so that's kind of what the cohort looks like. But we've created a curriculum, again, that's 8 weeks long that follows behind the one day conference. So we're excited about implementing that.
Okay, so the career component of Educated and Broke is going to occur on November 5th.
Correct.
When is the entrepreneurial segment going to launch?
Yeah, so we are getting a date set. The venue that we're working with, they will not have their available dates until the end of the month. So that's what we're waiting on. And let me address why that's an important factor to consider. So when we were planning Educated and Broke, we've had the in-person event prior to COVID, and then we pivoted to the virtual sessions, and it has been wonderful. But one of the things that we definitely have realized with women, especially ones like myself who have children, is sometimes that can be an obstacle or a barrier that keeps them from going to programs outside of their full-time job, right? Because they have childcare issues. They have no one to watch their kids. Or let's say one, is working at this time of the day and then, the other one goes to work when the other one gets off and they just don't have someone else around that can help in that area. We wanted to provide free childcare service. So like, for example, at our November event, we will actually have Toodles event services that will be there to do the childcare on site free of charge for the moms who want to participate in the program. So interesting enough, sometimes it's difficult to find spaces that will allow for the children to be on site separate from their parents. And so it took for us a while to be able to find that partner that would allow for that. And so we finally have, so excited about this partnership, but that was a huge piece. We do not want there to be anything that keeps that mother or that woman from being able to fully invest in herself. We want to take away all obstacles. Again, it's free and there's childcare service that's free. So I want to make sure we mention that. And because we're working with this venue again, we have to kind of follow along with their calendar.
I think that's awesome. And it just shows the thoughtfulness of what the brand stands for Women on the Rise International. think it's just,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're in this together. And so we have to support each other, right? Like a lot of us are in all different places within our personal lives. And, you can respect maybe one has a high school student that doesn't need any, supervision, but another one has a 3-year-old. We could all be the same age, but we've just had kids at different ages, and I need help, right? Like my son, he's being watched right now by the iPad, and that's okay. Um, we do what we have to do, right? And I just want to make sure that we're providing that community that individuals feel like they can really thrive in, regardless of that situation.
That's awesome. And one thing that I also like for you to share with the listeners is how you include self-care and mental health as a component of Educated and Broke.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like within Women on the Rise, especially, we try to advocate for that as much as possible. Just really taking that time for yourself. And to be absolutely honest, taking time for yourself to attend an event like this is self-care, right? Like you're actually investing within yourself. And I want to be clear because self-care can look many different ways. One of the things that's really important too is taking breaks between things, right? So like, for example, one of the things that we'll advocate for in this program is building your skill set. So if that means you need to go and get a certification, by all means, we'll go ahead and do that. And what that might look like is be rewarding yourself during that process as you've done so many courses within that certificate, maybe being able to go out and treat yourself to an ice cream cone. I don't know, whatever it might be. Or while you're working in the day, going through that program, maybe taking a moment to go for a walk. Just letting yourself be able to breathe to get through taking in that material. Because I think people oftentimes get overwhelmed in this process, but just really have to take care of yourself and take care of your mental health during that time. And it's really oftentimes just taking that break. For me, part of my self-care has been kickboxing lately. I carry a lot of stress on me. So going to the kickboxing studio and punching the hell out of that bag, that really helps. And my roundhouse kicks have become pretty awesome. So everybody will have a different way of doing that, but it's really great that each person has some kind of outlet to clear their mind and be able to take all this in, because it is a balance. You're working a full-time career. You might be a mom. You might have a side business going on. There's a lot of things that we juggle, and you just have to take that time to allow yourself to have a clear mind and focus in your inner self and your mental health.
Yeah, that's so true. And I think one thing that from attending the events and working with you to plan the events, one thing I'm consistently reminded of is that this is a journey. There's no overnight success. There's no quick fix. You really got to be patient with yourself and just go through the ebbs and flows of the development that this requires, because we're always being refined.
Listen, I'm so glad you said that too. Because so our name, Women on the Rise, right? We'll have people who will sometimes ask, well, I'm not on the rise, I'm already there. Honey, we're always on the rise, right? We're always constantly evolving, right? No one is completely 100% there. Beyonce is still fine tuning, okay? Like we're all evolving. And so I just want to make sure I make that clear that we're all striving to improve upon ourselves, improve upon our skill sets, learn more. Those who are in a great place within their career might find themselves in a situation where their skill sets are kind of streamlining out because there are new skills that are being demanded in the workforce now, right? So this is a program that is for everyone at every level in your career. There's still CEOs and senior level executives that don't know how to use a Google Calendar, honey. So we all have room to make improvements.
Yeah, I think, and when you just said that, it makes me think of people, just for examples, and some people get frustrated with people that don't know how to navigate Excel well, right? Like, how could they not know how to navigate Excel? I'm like, have they ever had to be? Is that a requirement? Like some people, it's second nature, but that's because they were required to do that. But some people, depending on their role, they had an admin for that, or it was not something that they had to use on a daily basis. So where I feel like, just that's a very small example, but it is a definition of extending grace to people as they close learning gaps, because you need someone to be patient with you if you don't know something, and they're all tools. And since software is a tool, you can definitely learn it. It might take you a little longer than others, but you will learn it. And I just think that we just have to remind each other that we were not always experts, and
Yes.
we got to grow.
Absolutely, 100%. And like, so for example, like in our Facebook group that we have, which is called Women on the Rise group. So definitely, if you're interested, please find us on Facebook and join. One of our members was just saying, hey, I want to start a business Facebook page. Who can guide me through that? Right? Like, that is a community where you can just share that kind of thing and someone can jump in and help you. Right. And so I think, again, that's one of those reasons of having a community like that, because what does Ksenia said? She's our philanthropy director. It's like, what is my weakness is your strength, or something like that. So when we come together as a community, we can really kind of help support each other to fill in those gaps that we might have. And I think during the pandemic, when everyone had to start working from home, you didn't necessarily have that person next to you who knew how to do all of those things, whether it was Excel or not. People were really beginning to get challenged, especially when it came to Zoom. They're like, okay, how does this work? You saw people struggling, and it's like, this is the CEO of the company and they're struggling, right? So it's great when we have programs like this that, come and educate and teach us, because again, everyone at all levels is still looking to rise up within their career in some level of skill set.
For sure. And listeners, I also want to let you know that members of Women on the Rise are able to, on Women on the Rise International, are able to have monthly masterminds with Arlene as well, where she sits down, and if you're on the call, you're able to go through your business needs, what you're looking for. You're able to brainstorm with her and have that interaction on a monthly basis with other divas in the organization that are in the same space as you, potentially making their mark, right? Making their mark, developing themselves, developing their businesses, and just stretching and just talking about, balancing different things, cost comparison, things of that nature, sharing those resources. So it's one thing about it, the continuity of service is the same at every touch you may encounter with Women on the Rise International. So how you feel, what you experience with Educated and Broke could be the same. Continuity will flow over to the monthly meeting. The same continuity will flow over to the mastermind. Like, it is seamless, it is consistent, and that's really what you really need. You need the consistency of that push, right? To drive yourself to find what you need so you can be your professional best. Because that is one thing I'm always saying. I am helping people evolve to their professional best. Arlene, you are helping people evolve to their personal and professional best. And I really do think they go hand in hand.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's like, even when we have the masterminds and I'm facilitating that, I am definitely a person who I feel like can identify potential in people, and like, creatively, I can always come up with ideas that they can pursue, right? But when you have the other women that are also part of that mastermind, the resources that they can bring to the table and share with others as they're kind of sharing what their goals are, what they're working on, what they might be struggling with, and so forth. We kind of have a structure on how we do that. It's amazing. I've seen partnerships created through it. I've seen people be able to identify grants that they can use to support their business or whatever they're pursuing. It's just a great opportunity to really collaborate with others. I'm big on, closed mouths don't get fed, right? So you
Mhm.
have to be clear about what you're going through and what your needs are. And then we can start thinking about how we can support you. When we had our leadership training recently, one of our leadership team members, Rochelle Smith, um, we were having a conversation where she was sharing her Women on the Rise story and why, like, this is her organization, because for her it's like your network is your net worth. So when we had a corporation come to us, and I'm constantly getting calls finding out if we have members that maybe do certain things, right? They'll reach out to women's empowerment organizations. They want to support women-owned businesses. So I had one reach out. They were looking for someone in financial investments that might do financial literacy for children. Okay, well, I know one of the members who does that, right? And so
Mhm.
I reached out to her. I coached her behind the scenes on what I thought she should be charging. I was like, do not undercharge on this. She came forward, she put together her, best proposal, and she got the opportunity, right? And that's what it's about. You need to be a part of organizations that are going to be able to advocate for you, right? And I tell the ladies all the time, if I don't know what your skills are or what it is that you do, I can't advocate on your behalf. So I want to know all of our members. I want to know what they do. So I'm big about, if you're going to join, be active, be engaged, because that's how we're able to support you and that's how you're able to grow.
For sure. Will you please share with the listeners what you define as recognizing your value for anyone that attends Educated and Broke? What does that mean for you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think first off, understanding that you deserve more, period. Right. I will see people who will talk themselves out of an opportunity because they don't think they have the potential. You do. Right. You can accomplish anything that you set your heart upon. Right. And so, one, I want to make sure that's clear. But I also think just, I don't know, just really focusing on what it is that you want, coming up with what that plan looks like on how to get there, and understanding again that you just deserve to reach that goal, right? And then I think also putting your finger to the keyboard and actually researching what it looks like to be in the position that you're in, right? Because we have to be able to go to the company that we work for, any other company, and be able to actually articulate what it is that I bring to the table, where that finds value, and what I should be being paid for that. Because sometimes people will say, well, I deserve to be making more, and it's because they just worked for the company for a long time. Well,
Mhm.
are you at that company quiet quitting, right? Or are you actually bringing additional value into that workplace, right? And so really just getting clear about what that looks like and what it looks like to be paid based off of what you're doing in your role. So as far as understanding your value, one, just again, knowing that you deserve to, be where it is you want to be in your career, going for it, not letting your conscious keep you from reaching that space, and then doing the research, doing the work to know what it is from a dollar value that you really should be earning. And if you're not satisfied with that, go back to that career plan and start putting yourself on a trajectory to get where you do want to be.
And that is the journey, right? That's the journey.
Yeah.
One is the aha moment, right? The aha moment of I should be doing more, or I can do more, or I am worth more.
Yeah.
That's an emotion you need to process because it's definitely uncomfortable. And then
Yeah.
that honest self-assessment of your
Yeah.
skills. And that's something that the attendees, if they when, not if, when they attend the event on November the 5th, if they get in that cohort, they're going to be able to really break that down and really come up with a plan of action. And like
Absolutely.
figure it out, right? Figure out what they need to do, what they need to learn, what they need to be humble about, what they need to be more, speak up more. I don't want to say brag, but toot your own horn a bit more about what you bring to the table. And you're going to get these tools in those, not only if you attend it, you're going to get the foundation of it, right? From being at the event virtually or in person. But if you get in a cohort, you're really going to be able to master out a plan and get that support to navigate the emotion of it, understand where you are, understand what you need to do in order to position yourself for your next level. You might need to give yourself a year. You might only need to give yourself 3 months. You might just need to get a specific skill. Arlene and the team is going to work with you to figure out what that is. It might not be as long as you might think it will be. And then it might be that long, but you're going to have a plan. So you're going to have your milestones. You're going to have, you're going to have your checkpoints. You're going to be able to put together your speaking points on what you need to do so you can explain what you do, right? You got to be able to explain that, your skills that you bring to the table and how you can increase the dollar of the business and the brand and the presence and everything else that is associated with brand awareness and understanding business continuity. And you're going to get all of that from being actively involved with Educate and Broke. I am just equally passionate with Arlene about this program. And a lot of the members on the board are passionate about it. The members are passionate about it because we don't want to see women leave this earth without using all their talents and feeling and experiencing what it means to be valued for your gifts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Another thing that I want to make sure to mention is there may be women that we know who they may not have a college degree, right? But they've been working in their field for a long time where they are experts in that space, right? So they have a certain skill that they bring to the table. They too need to attend this event to figure out how they too can begin to earn more or take those skills and pivot into their career. Because there are great paying careers right now that do not require that college degree, right? And so I would do a call to action to everyone. If you know another woman or someone who identifies as a woman who has complained about how much they make or has complained about their work environment, get them to register for this free event because it is time for them to start really making change. None of us should be coming back and complaining to someone else about, being tired of our job, or I'm only going to be doing the bare minimum because these people don't appreciate me and I don't make enough. It's time to invest in yourself. So find 5 others in your life who need to be a part of this program and get them to register. So that's my call to action out there to the community.
I love it. So Educated and Broke is a fantastic opportunity for you to grow through what you're going through. So join us. Arlene, we're going to put all this in the show notes, but Arlene, please share the date, the time, the location, all the details. The link is in the chat and it's also going to be in the notes. And will you also give another overview of the cohort and when that's going to start as well?
Absolutely. So the date of the event is November 5th. It is from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have limited tickets for the in-person option to attend. That is the option that has the free childcare service. But attendees can also register to attend virtually as well. So there is that opportunity for wherever you are, abroad or in the country, to be able to still attend and be a part of this interactive conversation. And then we will be sharing the details during the event for the cohort and the start date. We will be giving everyone an opportunity right after the event to register for the cohort. You have to fill out an application and be accepted into the cohort. We just want to make sure that everyone who signs up is willing and ready to be 100% engaged in the programming. And so we will have that, and that will be following the November 5th event.
And will the replay be available for purchase?
We haven't 100% decided that. So what I will
Okay.
say right now is mark your calendar for November 5th to be in attendance, right? But we will kind of gauge that based off of feedback that we get. But we want to make sure that everyone is, live for it. I definitely notice a difference when a person watches a replay, how engaged they are with it versus when they're there when it's live. And so we just want to make sure that people are really taking in the content and can really use it.
I love it. This is awesome. Arlene, please let the listeners know how they can get in touch with you.
Absolutely. So definitely go right now to our website at www.wotinc.org. That is our main website. You can learn more information about what we do in the community, more about our board. You can also click and see a little bit more about our chapters, and you can see additional details about this upcoming Educated and Broke. You can also visit our store. So we actually have a new Women on the Rise merch store with some really, really great items. And we also have our new signature I Will Not Be Educated and Broke t-shirt featured there as well too. So make sure you check that out and support our 501c3.
That is awesome. I'm going to go get my sweatshirt now that I know that it's up and going. So this is awesome. And I'm Michele Badie.
On LinkedIn.
Oh yes, she's on LinkedIn. Follow her. She gives great. She shares great events. Like that's like one of her gifts. You guys should really follow because they're really beautiful. I'm Michele Badie. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Career Tipper podcast. I can be found on all social media platforms by Career Tipper. I spend most of my time on LinkedIn sharing not only career development, professional development tips, but also project management. I'm a project manager by day, and I help people in my free time for professional development. And this is my calling, and I'm so grateful that you joined us for this episode. And I look forward to you joining us on November the 5th at Educated and Broke. Thank you so much.
Thank you.